Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. I know I missed my Friday video, but I got extremely busy right around the time I normally shoot these things. So today I am more or less redoing one of my earlier videos. I can't even remember which one it was. Probably like, I don't know, one of my first 10, where I looked at the GKD Bubble. I decided to take a second look at it, see if it was as bad as I remember. Now, this is my sponsor's handheld, so after I made that video, I sent it off to him. Haven't seen it, touched it, or done anything with it since then. All I've done this morning was load it up with some games and turn it on. It's just sitting here. Another thing I wanted to discuss is, you know how I like to do, if you're kind of a jackass in my comments, I like to call you out a little bit. That's what we're going to do really quickly. So, some asshat in my comments, which I briefly read his stuff, and it was a nice big paragraph on how what I did with the 34XX wasn't a review and all this good stuff, and my settings were wrong, and that's why my screen looked that way. My settings are default, dumbass. Also, I love the screen. So if my settings are wrong, motherfucker, I don't want to be right. The screen looks great. And everything I've compared it to, when I compared it to the miyoomini V4 and the Trim UI brick, those screens look great too. So I don't understand this dude's comment. He is one of the dumbest people on the internet. Now you guys know how this goes. You upload a video. You know, you might get, out of every 10 people, like 2 to 3 people want to leave you some shitty negative comment. I find them mostly funny. But yeah, he was like, your screen looks like that because your settings are wrong. Well, this was out the box. Also saying it's not a review. I've already gone over this. A review is my assessment of a product, an item, whatever. The review could take 10 seconds. I could turn the video on and go, I like this thing. It's great. It feels comfortable in the hand, and turn it off. That's a review. At no point does a review require you to open it up, look at the inside, and do all the stuff everybody else does. That's more in depth, but they're both reviews. I do it my way. If you don't like it, you're watching the wrong video. Okay? And I'm not one of those people that everything I get, I like. And I'm not going to get on here and tell you every handheld was perfect and you should buy every one of them. No. There's a bunch of them that I dislike. A bunch of my own that I dislike. So I don't use them that often. They're more for display. They're more of a collection now. Doesn't mean I like each one, equally. I don't. Anyway, as for the settings, completely default. Screen looks great. I haven't really changed anything. You guys watch when I take off like the overlay and the shader. That's the only thing I do. And even with that stuff on, the screen on this is amazing. So anybody that's going to be like, oh, your settings are wrong. Well, I'm going to keep them wrong, man, because I like it that way. So yeah, and since I'm the one using it and you only got to watch the video on it, and yeah, you don't even got to do that. You can skip this. I don't care what you have to say. But like most people that just fire off some negative comment and don't take time to ask. Now, it would have been different if the guy would have been like, hey, I feel like something was off. What were your settings? And started a conversation or discussion. That's fine. Then he would have found out this was out of the box. That was default. And it would have been over. But no, he just assumed, acting like a jackass. Yeah. So those type of people, I just remove your comment. And depending on how I feel when I read it, I might just remove you from the channel. Block you from future stuff. Doesn't hurt me any. I really don't care. It doesn't even hurt you any, because then you don't got to see my content, because, hell, if you don't like it, don't watch. All right. 4 minutes of me ranting and raving about some ass clown. Now let's get to the review. So, when I originally reviewed this, it was brand new. Just came out. They were just shipping them. I don't know. It's 6-7 months old now. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember how old it is. But we're going to revisit it because at the time I hated this more than anything else. Now, when I shot this video, I also had maybe 15 subscribers, but since we're well over 500 now, let's give it a second shot. Now, some of the things I hated about it. I hated the feel of the plastic. It felt really cheap, like those play school toys you get for kids. And that opinion hasn't changed. I still think this plastic feels really cheap. It still feels like those play school toys. I can't stand it. And this, I don't understand. I mean, the shape back here, they should have made this bigger. They should have made these bump outs a lot bigger and made it more of a grip. But it's just annoying at this depth because your hand it slides right over it. So it doesn't add too much to the grip at all. The other thing I didn't like, I wasn't a huge fan of the D-pad, and it felt like it got hung up, I think, in the upper right. Which it feels like whatever was causing that has broke off or worn off, because it doesn't feel like that's the case anymore. Another thing I don't like about it is you can see that in there? How it's all rounded, but the opening is a little too big, so you can see the edge right there on the inside of that circle. So let's move this aside. Look in there. That's the edge of the little joystick module. There it is on the top of that one. So for each one, you can see at least part of it. So it's not quite sized right. And then you got your buttons on here, start and select. They kind of stick out a little bit. It keeps focusing on my damn keyboard. Let's try to move over here. Okay, so it sticks out a little bit, even though there's indentions there. It's not awful. It's not something I really talked about in my first one, but now I just think it looks kind of ugly like that. So that's the menu up there, right? Okay, so you get your typical GKD launcher. They don't let a lot of third-party or outside help do anything with these. And if they did, most GKD products would be so much better. I mean, something like the Pixel, you can get miyoomini and all that. But, I mean, you go back to the Mini Plus, Classic Plus Mini, there's not a whole lot for it. There's some things out there. I'll leave it default. Now, most GKD handhelds at default take forever to boot up. Okay, I know my Classic Plus takes, I don't know, 5 minutes. So, but this one, you can tell what it's inspired by, right? Game Gear, obviously. You can tell by the whole lens over the screen. One thing I've always liked about GKD, though, is their little lights, the way they do the lights on most of them. I don't know, I like on the Pixel, the side had the power indicator. The Classic Plus, whatever, has the dots across it showing you how much battery is left. I enjoy that. I like the way they do that. It's one of the few things I like that they do. Now, one of my all-time favorite handhelds is that GKD Mini Plus Classic. Dumb name. Anyway, it's one of my favorites. Okay, top 10 easily. I think it's their most amazing handheld. It was slept on by everybody because it's not user-friendly. So, this one, I mean, look, it's just horribly done. Look at all the screws, they just stand out. I mean, I don't have a problem seeing screws, but when they're all that noticeable, it's kind of annoying. But let's get to it. Let's turn something. There you go. Let's jump into some Game Gear. Personally, I have no love for the Game Gear. I've played some Game Gear games. I don't like any of them. They're all just, they're not for me. They're watered down versions of better games. So we'll keep the overlay on it too. Sorry, it's been a while since I messed with looking for the volume button. God, it takes a while to use. Okay. Nope, no password. There we go. I've never used an actual Game Gear, so the controls are kind of a mystery to me. Let's use a D-pad. Oh, that's edge of the map, which I keep gravitating to. Okay, figuring it out. Yeah, still not a fan of Game Gear. Okay, gonna exit that one. That's what Game Gear looks like on it. So that's not gonna make me like this any better. Playing Game Gear. Playing a system I don't care for on a handheld I've already expressed some hate for doesn't help. Oh man, this is a serious ROMs list. What are we in? Game Boy Color? Oh shit. Oh. Okay. Stop. Yeah, it just kind of took off on me. I can't tell if that was D-pad issues or what. Let's just play some Paperboy here. I'm still kind of thrown by it just scrolling like that. I don't like the fact that no volume indicator shows up, but that's not make or break for any handheld. I've also never been good at Paperboy. Nope, I didn't even see that in front of me. Let's see what this looks like if we get rid of everything. I guess the best part of all these is if you know your way around RetroArch, you can make all the changes you want. And it's kind of universal across all of them. So that's not awful. I'm so bad at Paperboy. Okay. Well, Game Boy Color wasn't awful. I still don't like the feel of the handheld at all. Let's scale up appropriate, or I guess step down. I was going to say scale up, but I started at Game Boy Color. And that, there it goes again. And that D-pad, that just keeps swapping left and right as I'm hitting down. Okay, let's find something. My camera's really hating it because I got my window right here covered, but the window to my right's wide open. I got my keyboard over here shining light, so it has no idea what the hell to focus on. And when the screen goes black, it focuses on the reflection. We're gonna go right in and do the overlay and shaders. You guys know I don't care about pixel perfect integer scaling. I just care about what I like. And I'd rather utilize the whole screen real estate. Every time. For every handheld I go full screen, I want to utilize the entire screen. I don't want a border, I don't want overlay. I'm paying for that screen. It's supposed to be whatever size screen, 3.5 inch, 3.7, 2.8, whatever. I want the whole screen. I got the handheld, you know, it's supposed to be the screen size. I want to use that screen size. And I don't care if it's perfect for Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color. It looks slightly better. No, I want to use the whole screen. Get away, bird. There. Swap to the D-pad. Oh, whatever. Door, fast forward. Okay. Fast forward is your friend in games like this, except when you just jump off a cliff. Okay. So Game Boy Color and regular Game Boy are not that bad. Let's stick with the, God, it's such a list. Let's stick with the Castlevania theme here. Let's see that one. God, the angle I have the stand at now, I'm like turned this way, so it's killing my right arm. If it was my handheld, I'd eventually change those options and not have to do this. I say that, but like my 34XX SP, I still haven't set my done my settings permanently. I still go in and do this every time, but it also motivates me to stay on whatever game I'm playing. Fast forward, so select is the hotkey. I did not realize this opening was this slow for this game. It doesn't look terrible for GBA though. I don't remember the specs on this handheld. But it's definitely not the most comfortable handheld to play on. But like I said, the plastic is pretty shit. Oh, that's not start. This is start. Okay. Hello. Let me in. Nope, don't hold me back. You're lucky that was in the way. I'd kick your ass. I've never played much of this one. Actually kind of like the movement a lot. Feels quick, I guess, and compared to a lot of Castlevania games. That dash feels really fast. Doesn't matter if I take a bunch of damage, I'm not going to stay playing it. Right. Just let it drop and hit it. Alright. So, the Game Boys are not awful. What else we got? That was DS. I don't care about Nintendo. This looks like PlayStation. Let's do PlayStation. We'll end it at PlayStation. Well, I might turn on PSP. Do we have any overlay by default? Of course. Shaders by default. Always. Settings. You guys are gotta be pro at this point after watching me do this 1,000 times. Wow. Killing my right arm. I keep feeling like that should be start.
You don't belong in this world. It was not by my hand that I'm once.
I don't really care for the speakers either.
I was called here by.
I mean, they fire down, but it's not comfortable to use. It's not uncomfortable. I mean, if you have like a 35XXH or any horizontal that's just flat back here, honestly, I feel like it might be better just to make it flat, because although this does add a slight amount of grip, I feel like flat would just be better. But it's not comfortable at all. Inline, you know, triggers and whatnot, I don't care for it. It is, I mean, it's lightweight as shit, if that's something that you care about. Apparently I can't time it right on this handheld, because normally I can jump those fireballs. Oh, damn it. I made a mistake. I jumped. I should have ducked, jump. Doesn't matter, I'm not going to stay for the whole fight. The PS1's not all. I keep looking around the camera to see how well it looks. I mean, honestly, in a dark room, the brightness on the screen is not that bad. The colors are okay. They're not, you know, they're not anything. I'm like, oh my god, look at this screen. It's amazing. I wouldn't even compare this to anything because it's average. It's average. Okay. It's normal. It's not the best screen, but it's not the worst out there. Let's load up some Outrun for PSP. See how well that runs on here. Yep, see, it's not start. I was going to go ahead and start. So this time around, at least twice in the menu, it just kept scrolling. So that's a negative. I still don't like the plastic. I still don't think it's that comfortable. I'm still not a huge fan of that D-pad, which is, I think, what, you know, the D-pad's obviously an issue. I don't like being able to see the edge of the actual module for the sticks. Just, yeah, still not a big fan. GKD does not make handhelds that are worth a damn. They just don't. Their marketing sucks. And I broke it. No, their marketing sucks. They've created a handful of handhelds that are all just, except for that, you know, Mini Plus Classic, whatever, that aluminum Game Boy color looking one I have. That's still the only real good one. I didn't really care for the Pixel. The Pixel 2, honestly, the small power boost you get, the small upgrade on the Pixel 2 is pointless. It adds really nothing. Nothing that you're going to comfortably play on it. So I think the Pixel 2 was just a cash grab. It was just dumb, honestly. Well, this runs PS2, okay. Let's check. Yeah, all the time. That's normally on every time. Auto frame skip. So, honestly, my first take of this handheld, how I felt about it, I feel was accurate. I still think it's overpriced. I think these are still $80-$90, somewhere in that, around that price point. I think they still only come in this red or black color. I hate the fact that the screws stand out that much, but well, if you get black, it might not be that bad. I don't care for the bump outs. The D-pad is still shit, even though it's that disc style. Anbernic did that better. The sticks are normal Switch style sticks. They're not that great. The positioning, when they're sunk in, it doesn't feel like you get full movement, and you can see the whole module in there. Okay, so it's the sticks that are doing it, right? Is that what I just gathered? Anyway. Yeah, where they're sunken in, you don't feel like you get full range of movement with them. The buttons they're buttons. I don't think I noticed the first time that B and A are bigger than X and Y. Must be the whole Game Gear look they're going for. I mean, if you're a huge Game Gear nerd and you want an emulator that looks like a Game Gear, go get you the black color one of these. Get you some stickers. I keep dropping, my hands are a mess today. Get you some, stickers from Etsy or something. Make it look like a Game Gear and enjoy it. And I still don't get why they called it the Bubble. This is dumb. Yep, still a handheld I hate so much. And now okay, now I mount one of those to turn rock. Anyway. So first assessment, best assessment. I still hate this thing. It's not that great. It's not worth your money. It's not worth your time. Don't get it. At all. This was a complete failure of a product. Alright, everybody, I'm going to end it here now that I've bashed on GKD and made enemies of everybody that's a GKD fan. So, I had other stuff I was going to do a video on today, but I forgot it all, so all I had on me was the bubble, so this was kind of like, called an audible here. I got some interesting stuff for tomorrow. So, we'll see. But, yeah, if you were in the market for something like this, save money. Do not spend 80 or 90 on this unless you absolutely want it, unless you already know everything about it and it is something you want to add to your collection. If you're looking for a handheld or your first handheld, do yourself a favor. Don't pick up any GKD as your first handheld, okay? Any Game Kitty handheld is not good for first-time buyers. All right? They need tweaks. They're not great out the box almost ever. So yeah, get any other horizontal handheld on the market while I try and stop my camera from shaking left and right. Get any other handheld on the market that would be 20-30 bucks cheaper, that has something going for it. A really good screen, really good ergonomics, something, because this doesn't check any box except plays games. That's it. That's all it'll do. You're not gonna. Well, I don't like anything specific about it. Okay, if I want something that just plays games, I could spend half the money and get like a Powkitty V10 and be fine. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna end it there. Do you have a bubble? Does anybody in my comments have a bubble? If you do, let me know what you think. If you love it, that's fine. And remember, if you're gonna try to engage in argument or discussion or whatever, do it correctly. You come out the gate like a jackass, I'm going to treat you like that. So, anyway, I'll see you guys in the next episode.